The first question is, what is the state of consciousness after death? So you see, when you are studying Vedanta, you must start using language like, what is the state of my mind after death? Consciousness, as you saw, is motionless, immutable, unchanging, eternal. It is ever there, ever present. But your Sukshma Sharir, the mind, the entire apparatus of the mind with its sanskars and everything, that undergoes change. The body, of course, falls. Death is nothing but the separation of the body from the rest of you. Your mind continues its journey, its sojourn. According to its karma, according to its sanskars, it will take up another body. So a nice way of understanding what death is through the Panchakosha model of Vedanta. How does it describe the human personality, this model? It says there are 5 koshas, 5 sheets. You are at the innermost core, the Atman. But there are 5 sheets over you. What are these sheets or coverings? The external one is the body. That's the most external crust of your personality, to which you have given major importance. So you identify yourself through the body, but actually speaking, it is only one bit of your personality paradigm. It's called the Annamaya Kosh. Then beyond that is the Pranamaya Kosh. Very important, your vital energies, what energizes you from within. Then there is the mind, the Manomaya Kosh. So this Manomaya Kosh is the very important part of you, with which you are constantly identified, the mind. Then within this is the Vijnanmaya Kosh, beyond this. So that is your higher intelligence, higher intellect, with which you are absolutely identified. And beyond this is the Anandamaya Kosh, the causal sheath, which is actually responsible for your will and higher intelligence. But you don't see it, you don't see these sheaths beyond the Annamaya Kosh, so you don't recognize them. So these are the 5 coverings upon, you are none of these, okay? You are the Atman, it is enshrouded with these 5 sheaths. Now death is nothing but the separation of only the Annamaya Kosh from the rest of the sheaths. Only the body falls. The rest of you, the mind, with all its attributes, its sanskars, its baggage of karma, all of it will continue. Please note. And it will continue where, according to its karma, it will take up further births because of the desire to manifest, the desire to come into a body. It will take up further births. It even chooses the kind of atmosphere, the kind of body it will have, according to its needs. So it's called the Sukshma Sharir. Whatever the Pranamaya Kosh, Vijnanmaya Kosh, Manomaya Kosh, Vijnanmaya Kosh, all of these, they proceed further, the Sukshma Sharir, and finally the Karan Sharir is the Vijnanmaya Kosh. All of these, and of course you the Atman, all of this is going to experience, you see, your awareness will just blossom in another body, that's all. Awareness doesn't move anywhere. Your thought process starts functioning in another body. That's all. You were always aware. So this is the state of consciousness after death. You must think deeply about this. Then ultimately, what have I invested my time and energy into while I'm here? On something more permanent, or on something which is so flimsy, which is going to change completely in a few years' time. That's the essential point. There's a lot to discuss on this, but I have 7 questions here, so I'm just moving fast. How to practice Karma Yoga in today's world? See, if you do real yoga, then the activity which will follow, the state of yoga, the state of deep inner awareness, that will become Karma Yoga. Whatever activity you do with your body and mind, once you are established in the state of yoga, Yogastha Kuru Karmani, that's the meaning, that's the verse in Bhagavad Gita. Remaining in the state of yoga, whatever you do with your body and mind will become Karma Yoga. But if you want to use these activities initially to enter the state of yoga, then do it as an offering at the feet of the divine. Anything that you do, let it be of such worth that जैसे आप भोग चढ़ाते हो ना, नैवेद्य चढ़ाते हो भगवान के लिए, you should be able to offer that work like that. कर्म ऐसे होने चाहिए. Then it will become a means to that state, so that spontaneously after that whatever you do is karma yoga. I hope you got something from this, because karma yoga is actually speaking the only thing which most people can do. The body and mind is not ready for higher states of awareness. So that is why this is the basic discipline everybody has to undergo. As long as your will is functioning perversely, in the sense selfishly, as long as your emotions are contaminated with low thoughts, as long as your thoughts themselves do not remain steady, as long as higher awareness has not blossomed within you, karma yoga is fundamental to higher development. So don't take it as an option. I have seen people who do selfless work for many years purify themselves entirely without any sort of conscious effort, because they are offering everything that they do at the feet of the divine. So the divine power will lift them up. That is why Vivekananda made this a mandate, compulsory for all. Whether you are an inbuilt Raja Yogi or Jnana Yogi, still Karma Yoga should be primary. It is the foundation to all higher states of awareness. So that once you have the sanskars generated by real Karma Yoga, you can stabilize yourself wonderfully in the spiritual life. Then the third question is, Upanishads have infinite knowledge. How one can acquire that in his limited capacity? You must increase your capacities, isn't it? The whole point is, it's a penetration into your being, the Upanishads. It is not talking of the nature of God. Did I use the word God anytime in our study? It's not talking about another being somewhere above the clouds or some greater being. It's not talking like that. It is telling you the source of your being. So then, if you now you have assumed you are the limited being who is incapable of doing this investigation. No, if it's your real nature, you have the potential to do it. Raman Maharshi used to say this, when you say I, that is precondition enough to penetrate into self-knowledge, because you have an I sense. Now investigate into it, inquire into it. What is it about? So Upanishads have infinite knowledge, but you yourself have infinite potential. It may not have become kinetic as yet, but you have it within you. You must bring it step by step into manifestation through sadhana. That is why Uddharet Atmana Atmanam, na Atmanam Avasadaya. Don't think you are a small limited being. Vivekananda used to always say this. Know yourself to be the Atman and proceed towards it through sadhana. Don't demean yourself by yourself. If I see God in everyone, how do I perform my duties? Why? As a form of worship. When you see God in everyone, your duty will not have that kind of a feel that it's an obligation and I have to sacrifice myself for this. No such thing. It will be a happy worship of the divine in the person you are serving. In fact, this is how it should be. That is why the basic principle of Karma Yoga is, you see the divine in everyone and you worship accordingly. So whatever you are doing for that person is of the nature of worship. It is not your duty or anything like that. It should not carry any adverse emotion. It is a joy to be able to serve, because you are actually worshipping the Atman in that person, isn't it? Finally, that is the truth, the reality about that person. So you are worshipping God. So when you do this consciously, it is called Karma Yoga. How the sadhak can gauge his progress? So what is the mapkati, you are asking? See, there is only one measuring tape for spiritual progress, and that is the inner purity and peace which you feel. Are you free from the instinctive life? Are you free from the shadripus? Then you are progressing. If you feel the sorrow of leading a compulsive, instinct-based life, an animal life, then you are progressing. So these are the ways in which you understand. The more you progress in spiritual life, the clearer the mind becomes, the more deeply conscious you become from within. No negativities anywhere, no compulsions anywhere. You are free from within yourself, and your thoughts are luminous. Your feelings are absolutely pure, and that is why they are forces in themselves. So you actually become you can say a rishi. Whatever you say, whatever you think will have tremendous effect. So this is how you gauge your progress. The present time seems going opposite to Vedic India, where hedonism is glorified. Your opinion, please. So, well, there's nothing to opinionate about this, because as long as we consider these basic instincts, or what you call hedonism, to be the sum and substance of life, yes, definitely we are moving away from our spiritual heritage, we are moving away from our own good. Let's understand that. Once you are caught in this, it will take a long time to, again rewire and condition yourself for the higher life. So this pleasure instinct in us, it has to be gradually transformed through spiritual practice, spiritual discipline, through sattvic ways of life, through higher thinking, developing our higher faculties, so that you are happy for reasons which you can respect. You are happy for things which you really feel elevate your life, and you are not simply leading an animal life. The basic instincts of eating, drinking and reproduction, even animals do that, isn't it? What's the difference about being a human being? That you are more conscious from within, and you take joy in being more conscious from within. So if this essentially has not been developed, what is the pride in leading a life just like that? So this is for each one of us to understand. You see, spirituality takes its own time, and you can't force it on anybody. So until they come to this, until the majority come to this, you can only keep radiating the highest ideals through your own life, through the power of your own mind, and you actually cannot do anything more than that. Gradually, the relative importance of things will be understood by everybody, because after all, we are all souls in evolution, isn't it? And human evolution itself means from the instinctive level to the psychosocial level, and then to spiritual level. So everybody will understand this scheme. It takes time with some people, that's all. What is meant by Drithi? That is the final question. Drithi means the enlightened will, which doesn't budge from what it knows to be right. Your thought may be saying something, your emotion is saying something, the people around you are saying something else. Still, you will not budge from what you have known to be true, from what you have known to be the ideal for your life. You stick to it. This intense inner force is what is called Drithi. It's a word straight from the Vedic literature, and it is so very important for human development. That's why they would insist on this in Vedic education, that the Drithi has to be developed. This kind of an undeveloped will which surrenders to every little emotion and impulse, then you cannot even become a human if you have that kind of an undeveloped will. You become human and divine only when the will gets fixed in very high ideals. So this happens through Drithi. You can call it the higher will or the committed will.